So today we're going to talk about logos. What is a logo? A logo is an identifying symbol, also called a brand mark, identifier, logotype, or a trademark. The most common term is logo, so that's what we're going to call it. And really, the ultimate goal of a logo is to represent what the brand or product signifies. The secondary goal is to provide immediate recognition. There are different types of logos, and we're going to be looking at all four of these types. Word marks. A word mark is just the name spelled out in a unique way. So here's an example of a word mark. There is a graphic with this one, but I just wanted to show you some different variations of this logo. So you can see that it's all the same font, all caps, but there's a lot of experimentation going on with kind of the placement of the words. Here it is kind of worked out in color, the final logo chosen. And here it is in a different ad for the same group. And so one thing that's really important about logo design is they have to be versatile. You have to be able to put them in different identity pieces, whether that's a business card, a website, a brochure. They have to kind of seamlessly integrate with different information. Here's an example of Maroon 5, some different variations, some kind of experimentation going on with the letters and the font type. So here it's very thin, more sophisticated. Here it's kind of more three-dimensional. There's some color being applied in this version. Jane 22. So in all these variations, the font is changing. So there's different fonts being used. The layout is changing a little bit with the E and the A being turned upside down. So when you brainstorm, it's really important that you just try all different things, because you never know where kind of the simplest idea is going to come from, and that idea could be your logo. So you have to experiment, you have to try things, change it, set it side by side next to different variations, and this comparison will help you decide what is the best ultimate choice for the logo. Here's a word mark that has hand-drawn type. So the idea behind this was to communicate kind of the spirit of Brazilian food. And you can create hand-drawn type really easily. You can draw it out on trace paper with black pen. Then you can scan it into the computer as an image with pixels, and then you bring that into Illustrator and you can vectorize it and then start to play with it, colorize it, change it. So we will be showing you how to do that in here, and I think I have a tutorial on it as well. Coca-Cola, probably one of the most famous products in the world, and the Coca-Cola has been around, logo and product have been around for a long time. The product was invented in 1886, and then in 1900 this decorative script logo was developed, and it's really reminiscent of the design trend at the time, which was Art Nouveau, and Art Nouveau was known for this kind of organic decorative style. And this logo became red in 1969. FedEx. FedEx is also a very memorable logo. One thing that's very clever about it is the use of negative space. So you can kind of see this arrow here. Maybe you never saw it before, but it's very important to the product, and it's just created using simple negative space. Yahoo. So Yahoo is supposed to connect people to their passions, and you can kind of feel the energy in their logo. Yahoo also has a double meaning. The word itself means kind of rebel, someone who doesn't listen or follow direction. And so I think the founders of the company really liked that association. Disney. The Disney logo was supposed to be cheerful. It was supposed to represent the quality television, and the founders really wanted it to resemble a signature. They wanted it to be their signature to the world that this product was going to be a high quality product. So letter marks. Letter marks is just where you take either one letter or two letters or three letters and you change it so those letters start to represent the idea behind the company. So you can see with this DWT, there's a lot of experimentation going on. A lot of thought is being played to the negative, positive relationships. The letters are being turned and twisted and overlaid, and this is all kind of good experimentation just to kind of go into a final design. So this company is called Electrical Digest, and the designer didn't even realize this was happening, but as he designed, he started to see this electrical plug, which is perfect for the product, and so he really used that to his advantage to create this idea of the electrical plug, the prongs being part of the D here. In is a beverage, and the idea behind this one, this product, was to communicate an edge. The letter mark expresses kind of a high-tech look, and it was also supposed to be able to be seen with a lot of different colors, and supposed to be simple but memorable, high-tech and modern. So these are symbol marks. Symbol marks, sometimes you don't need any text for your logo, and it can just be the graphic. And then, of course, when you start to lay it out and put it in different places in your design, you would put text next to it, and that works as well. So once you develop the symbol, then you can start thinking in terms of your layout. Where's the text going to go? What's its relationship to the text? The Twitter logo is a beautiful design, and Twitter really wanted to use a logo that looked like a bird, because the bird to them symbolized the hope and limitless possibility of their company. It also was very appropriate, since Twitter is tweet is what birds do, and they started out with this one here, but then they felt that it looked too passive and they wanted it to feel very active, like it was in flight. So they redesigned it, and there's a short little video that I'm going to post for you that kind of shows how they did this with 3 circles. They kind of combined 3 circles together to get this very kind of fluid, in motion effect, very clean. And so you can kind of see the edges. This is a perfect circle line here, and this connects a perfect circle here. So I'll show it to you and you'll see it. The Olympic logo, it represents the union of the 5 original major continents: Africa, America, Asia, Australia, and Europe. And really they wanted to show us the connection of the athletes from around the world, and so they just kind of linked these circles. Target. If logos are supposed to be simple, memorable, versatile, and appropriate, this logo hits the mark on all 4. I love what happens with the negative space here. Very simple. The negative space becomes one of the rings. The idea behind it, Target, is perfect for the product, and it's very versatile. It goes with in many different advertising, marketing, promotional material. So here's the Morton Salt logo, and you can kind of see how it's changed. It started out in 1914. There's this very decorative girl, and she does have her little salt here, and it's pouring out, but I don't think you can see it on the screen. And the idea behind the product and why this was drawn this way with the rainstorm and the umbrella and the salt pouring out is because the product, unlike regular salt of the day, was supposed to pour without clumps, even when it was wet. Combination marks are probably the most popular form of logo, and that's where you take text and a graphic and you combine them. And here's just some great examples. Sometimes you want the graphic to be very literal, something in nature, something in the literal world. Sometimes you want it to be abstract, and it really depends on who your target audience is and what your product is. And sometimes you want it to be non-representational. For example, these 3 lines here are very simple. They work. They're non-representational. But there's also the bee and the tree And so it's kind of up to you to kind of think, what direction do I want to go in? The Quaker oatmeal logo was redesigned a couple of times. This is the original, this very kind of ornate Quaker drawing in 1877. Sorry, it's very old. Then in 1946, they stylized it a little, modernized it. They basically took the head off and they changed the expression. They gave him kind of more of a kindly, boisterous look. And then in 1957, they created graphics and they actually turned the symbol into a combination mark by adding the Quaker text, kind of framing him in with the graphic. And then in 1972, Saul Bass, who's a very famous designer, really modernized it, and he created this logo, really utilizing the negative space, high contrast, creates a very memorable image. He was playing with the light and the dark, the shadow and the negative. Nike's another logo that really represents a very versatile, simple, memorable, and appropriate design. And so it was designed by Carolyn Davidson. I think I talk about that in another lecture. And this logo can go in all different marketing materials very seamlessly. So let's check it out. So here it is on an ad, kind of collaged in next to this texture. And here it is, just the mark. And this was in one of their commercials, and it's actually water. The YouTube logo is a strong logo. What's nice about it is it's very versatile. It goes on different backgrounds seamlessly. Conversa, a clever logo. Often what's kind of nice is if you take a letter in the word and you subtly or dramatically change that letter and turn it into either an abstract or representational symbol. And so here it is kind of the text box here, the text circle, you know what you call it. And it's, you know, it's very simple, but it also conveys this meaning here. And it's voice recognition software. Cosmo.com, this kind of abstract form here. And the idea behind this one is it's an online company that promises free 1-hour delivery of video games, DVDs, music, mags. So they wanted this very energetic, bright, fast logo. And the color really helps that as well. Sometimes if you want to add a photograph into a logo, you can do it in a way that's very clever, because you actually nowadays with companies like moo.com, MOO.com, you can send in like 100 photographs and your logo, which would be just this circle and text if it were this one, and then the company will actually print your business cards with 100 different images. So every person you give your business card to will have a different image inside of the logo. So it's kind of a, you know, a clever thing to do, and can be appropriate. It's really appropriate for photographers. So here's just some personal chef logos. You can see how varied they are. Some use, this is, you know, kind of the most modern of the designs, and then you have these kind of script style fonts here with these, the N and the R. And then you have some very kind of organic graphics going on. Hand-drawn text. So there's hand-drawn text in at least this one and this one are probably hand-drawn text. This one may not be. It just might be a modified font. So light flow, it's, you know, I think this is also voice recognition software. And the issue I have with this logo is I like the graphic, and this looks good, this kind of sans serif simple font, but there's too much space here. So my eye just kind of goes to this space, and I feel like it's a little bit distracting.